podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our quick publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC on a Tuesday, the day before Liverpool travel to Sheffield to take on Sheffield United at Bramall Lane in the Premier League. Sheffield United, obviously the worst team in the Premier League this season, 5 points from 14 games, on track to be the second worst team in Premier League history, which is fairly impressive. They're also the 8th worst team in Premier League history the last time they're in the division. And they've decided to have a bit of a throwback to that season. Today they have sacked Paul Heckingbottom and brought back Chris Wilder, a man who oversaw a start of 2 points from 17 games in the 2021 season. Now, in credit to Wilder, he had brought them from League One into the Premier League. They had a very good first season. That second season in the league, there was an absolute disaster, and he left in the March. But Chris Wilder is back as manager of Sheffield United. However, Sheffield United are not the only group making big moves. Now, we often talk about recruitment and how important recruitment is. And here at Anfield Index, I think we've got the best gang of lads that you'll find. And that is now being improved because master recruiter Eddie Gibbs has struck again, and AnfieldIndex.com and Anfield Index podcasts have landed a big fish. And Ben Boxak from Liverpool.com and many other places will be joining the Anfield Index team. I couldn't be happier to welcome Ben on board. I think he's going to be a brilliant addition to our team. He's going to be writing for the website. He's going to be appearing on podcasts. He'll be contributing in a number of different ways. Everybody knows Ben. Everybody knows the caliber of his work. Been a fan for a long time. So thrilled to have him on board. Eddie Gibbs has struck again. He's just decided that, you know, we're doing well. We've had a great start to the season. We're going to double down on it. And he's landed Ben Boxak. And I think it's a fantastic signing for us. Our own Hungarian wizard, after Liverpool signs Szoboszlai, we've decided to match the club. We've gone and we've gotten Ben. So thrilled with this and welcome on board. On to the other main Liverpool websites. So on This is Anfield, there is a piece about Sheffield United being there for the taking and with the tagline, "As fun as a root canal," which is pretty impressive. I'm actually a bit disappointed I didn't think of that myself. On to the next piece then. It's about Wataru Endo and his goal and his impact on the game at the weekend. Like, the goal is special. It's a special goal. From the Ibu chip, Darwin's knockdown, the brilliance of Mo, the off-ball run of Gakpo, the layoff, the oh no, and the ball passed into the top corner. What a goal. What an absolutely magic goal. But for me, what was actually more enjoyable than the goal is the tackle that he makes on João Palhinha. Just inside their half, Palhinha picks the ball up, turns to power into our half, and Endo just crunches him and leaves him in a heap and takes the ball cleanly. That, to me, like, that's what we want from a player in that role. That ability to just go and win the ball back, make the big tackle, be fearless, put your imprint on the game. And with the goal and that tackle, he's done both sides of it. Like, we don't expect him to score many goals. We do expect those kind of tackles, and when we get them, It's great. It genuinely is. So congrats to him on a great cameo. Arguably, like, we've had some really good cameos this season. Obviously, Harvey has been tremendous off the bench. Gravenberch against City was a good cameo. But that Endo cameo against Fulham will take some beating. That will take some beating to have that type of impact. To come on with the team losing, get us back in the game with the equaliser, which then causes the wave of momentum to get us the winner, and then to have that crunching tackle to shut down their potential attack, which again caused a wave of momentum. And then we saw a couple of other really good challenges from Liverpool players and some really good closing down and things like that. So yeah, very, very happy with that. So yesterday, actually, on the topic of closing down and tackles, one of the best tackles that we saw was by Darwin. And I talked about how I was looking at the games played, and they weren't making sense to me. It was because I was miscalculating because I'm an idiot. But I went and looked at his minutes played, because minutes played is a more telling sign than games played. And I'm looking back at Darwin's career, and he's played roughly 13,000 minutes in his career to date, including his time with us. When we signed him, he was 23 years of age, and he'd only played 9,500 minutes. Now, for context, we signed Fernando Torres at 23 years of age. And by the time he joined us, he'd played 23,000 minutes. 23,000 minutes. Like, Darwin is so raw, because in footballing terms, he's basically a kid. Like, I know he's 24, but he doesn't have the minutes of your standard 24-year-old. I think Marcus Rashford is 26, and he's played over double Darwin's career minutes. So with Darwin, I almost feel like we should be looking at him as more of like a 21-year-old, given the minutes played. I think that's more along the lines of where he is, 21, 22, rather than a 24-year-old. I think he's still got so much growth left in him. But, you know, I keep seeing names been thrown up. Oh, we should sign this guy. We should sign that guy. And one of the names right now is Luis Openda. Obviously, he scored those 2 goals against City. He's having a really good season for RB Leipzig. He's got 17 goal contributions this season. That's 4 more than Darwin, but he's played 500 more minutes. Darwin has 13 goal contributions this season in 1,100 minutes. So if he was to play 500 more minutes based on that, he'd have 6 more goal contributions. So he'd have 2 more than Luis Openda. But people don't want to talk about it because they don't want to give Darwin credit. Luis Openda has played 100 more minutes in his career than Darwin. So he's very, very inexperienced as well. He's a year younger. But he scored 12 less goals than Darwin. And he's got 5 less assists. And I know, like, this is only Darwin's second season in the Premier League, but Luis Openda's never played in a league as good as the Premier League. He's played in France. He's played in Germany. Prior to that, obviously, was playing in Belgium. I want to say it could have been Germany. It could have been the Netherlands. Let me just check. But regardless, Darwin played in the second division in Spain, so that's a fairly low level. But it's probably about equivalent to, I don't know, the Scottish Premiership. He was at Club Brugge, and then he was at Vitus Arnhem. And Vitus Arnhem he played in both. That's why I was confused. Vitus Arnhem's where he kind of had his breakthrough during a 2-year loan spell from Bruges, having not really made the grade, not really made an impact at Bruges. He did very well with Vitus Arnhem. And then he did really well with Lens. And he's having a really good season this year with Leipzig. But the Portuguese league is every bit as good as the French league, and it's every bit as good as what the Bundesliga has become in recent years. And Darwin thrived in that league in that second season. And he's done well in the Premier League. So I think Darwin having more goals and more assists in less minutes is really impressive, considering I'd argue he's played against stronger competition. Even at international level, Openda has 2 goals from his 12 caps so far. Now, he's going to get better. He's a hell of a player. I'm not saying this to disparage him. Darwin has 8 in 22 caps. So again, better at international level. And I do feel like at the South American level, the international football is a higher standard than it often is for a lot of the European countries who play a lot of dross in their qualifiers. There's no real dross in the South American qualifying. It's really strong. And I just think we're seeing too much disrespect of Darwin. Because as I said yesterday, his job is not to score 30 a season. His job is to facilitate from O. Like, he's not a striker. He's a centre forward. His job is to run the channels, hold the ball up, link the play. Yes, he needs to get goals, but he has 7 goals this season. People are acting like he hasn't scored this year. And, the chance that hits the crossbar against Fulham, it's not the easiest chance in the world. Moving at full pelt, taking that ball in stride, and trying to beat a very good goalkeeper. The other one, where he misses his kick, that's a bigger chance, in my view. And it looks bad because he misses his kick. If he gets it on target and the keeper saves it, it doesn't look as bad. But he misses his kick and his technique looks a bit bad. But like I said, Darwin is still so inexperienced. And he's still so raw. And it's still a matter of trying to, smooth out some of those rough edges with him. But the last real chaos striker that the Premier League had was Jamie Vardy. That's what Jamie Vardy was. Jamie Vardy was a chaos maker. Do you know what Jamie Vardy was doing at 23 when Liverpool signed Darwin? You know what Jamie Vardy was doing at that same age? He was playing for Halifax Town in the National Premier League, which at the time was the 6th tier in English football. At 24, the age Darwin is now, he was playing for Fleetwood Town. He just signed for Fleetwood Town in the conference, the 5th tier. At 25, he was struggling to adapt to the Championship with Leicester. He was 28 years of age before he had his breakout season. And then he rattled off 7 really good seasons in a row. Some great, some good. But he was 28 before he had that real eureka moment where it all clicked for him. Development isn't linear. And not all world beaters are going to be world beaters at 19, 20, 21. Not everybody is Erling Haaland. Harry Kane wasn't Harry Kane until he hit 23 or so. Harry Kane at 19, 20, 21 was been written off. People were looking at Harry Kane as someone that wasn't nearly good enough to play for Spurs, to play in the division, let alone play for Spurs. But what Harry Kane did was he just kept grafting and he turned his career around. He was 22 actually when he had his real breakout. But still, when you look at what he's become now, I'm not saying Darwin will become as good as Harry Kane, but again, it's not like Harry Kane was 17 and banging in goals in the Premier League. Harry Kane had a loan spell with Leyton Orient in League One. Didn't go great. He had a loan spell with Millwall that was pretty good in the Championship. Then he had a failed loan at Norwich where he couldn't make the grade in the Premier League. Went on loan to Leicester in the Championship. Struggled. Really struggled.
Active military or veteran planning your next career move? Start at Columbus State Community College. When companies like Intel need to fill thousands of new jobs in Central Ohio, they hire Columbus State graduates. Our engineering technology programs equip you with skills and experience to launch a high-tech career in Columbus's fast-growing fields. And our veteran services team will help you maximize your benefits and connect to a supportive campus community. Take the first step. Apply at cscc.edu/engineering tech.
It took Harry Kane time to get going, in the same way it took his teammate of that season at Leicester, Jamie Vardy, a lot of time to get going. Ian Wright's another one. Like, Ian Wright was, I think, 27 when he went to Arsenal. Ian Wright was playing non-league until he was 22. He was nearly 28. He was 27, nearly 28 when he went to Arsenal. And look at the career he went on to have. Like, sometimes it just takes players longer to find their groove. But I genuinely believe with Darwin, we've seen continuous improvement since he joined. Especially when he gets minutes. Off the ball, he's totally different now than he was when we signed him. So can we put all that nonsense to bed and just appreciate what he is actually doing for this team? And the fact that he can play badly, like he did at the weekend, and still impact winning by having a big hand in 2 goals. On to other matters. Manchester United have banned 4 different newspaper outlets, 3 newspapers and Sky Sports, after reports that Erik ten Hag has lost half the dressing room. Quite fun. Why Liverpool can expect Donyell Malen links and why we should be sceptical, because he's not really developed since going to Dortmund and he's not quite good enough for us, would be the main one for me. There's a piece here about Jurgen's history with Chris Wilder, including one of the all-time great lines, which stemmed from the argument over the 5-sub rule and Chris Wilder calling Jurgen selfish and saying he's a world-class politician. And then Jurgen retaliating with, well, congrats, because Wilder's side won the argument. The 3 subs stayed until they changed it after the season. Jurgen said that Sheffield United should be happy they had 3 subs and 1 point. Just like fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Look, it's strange because originally Wilder was a huge fan of Klopp, but they had that falling out over the subs thing. And some of the back and forth was really good, and you love to see a bit of needle between managers. It does just kind of add to the spectacle. What else do we have here on This Is Anfield? Liverpool versus Manchester United to have the biggest Anfield crowd since 1977 after test events. So David Lynch has written this piece. The plans to partially open the top tier of the Anfield Road stand for the first time for the game against Manchester United remains on track, and a crucial test event has been scheduled. So there's to be a live event, a live Q&A with more than 3,000 supporters welcomed in to sit inside the top tier and do a Q&A with Jurgen, which is very, very cool. So plenty of other good stuff there on This Is Anfield, so do check out what the lads have on offer. Diogo Jota injury boost, January transfer agreed. Rest of 2023, an ideal Liverpool scenario. I see maybe my taunting about them constantly using dream has maybe made an impact here, but I will have a look at that. There's a piece about Ben Doak. Liverpool needs possible Van Dijk successor to step up after untimely injuries. That's going to be about Jarrell Quansah. Piece about Queeving. There's a piece about Erling Haaland somehow escaping any punishment for screaming in the face of Simon Hooper. I don't really understand how he's not getting punished, because it's a scandal that he was so aggressive towards the referee. Like, what are you crying for? It's part of the game. Just get on with it. Right, what's this now? Liverpool transfer news. As $45 million playmaker move likely, a new Lucas Beraldo claim emerges. Now, Hakan Çalhanoğlu, we are not going to sign Hakan Çalhanoğlu. Number one, he's not very good. Number two, he's 29. And number three, we've absolutely no need for him. Like, yeah, he's grand in Serie A. He plays well for Inter. Grand. He'd get absolutely rinsed in the Premier League. The Daily Star is reporting that Newcastle, West Ham and Brentford are all looking at Lucas Beraldo, who's been linked with Liverpool. The Sao Paulo defender would be a really good fit as a left-footed centre-back who can play left-back, would fit this 3-box-3 kind of shape. I think we'll probably go for a European proven defender rather than someone direct from South America, but I'd certainly be in favour of that move. Right, Diogo Jota injury boost, January transfer agreed. Let's see what this is about. Liverpool.com has taken a look at a few things that will make up the ideal December scenario for the Reds. So it would be to get good news about Diogo and obviously Alisson as well, more importantly. But it looks like Alisson, according to Paul Joyce, is actually going to come back a little bit ahead of schedule. But getting Jota back would be great. Arsenal to drop points before massive Anfield clash. They've got to go away to Villa, and I don't fancy them to win at Villa. Liverpool embarks on a winning run. Did this last week. I think we could actually win every game up until the end of this calendar year, and including our first game of next calendar year before the break for the FA Cup. Carabao Cup progress secured, absolutely. And having a January signing lined up, I think, would be vital as well. So hopefully it's a defensive midfielder, because it's obviously the biggest need that we have. On AnfieldIndex.com, a piece about what Jim Boardman had to say on the latest Scouser Tommies about us making a mess of things and then making up for it. There is the options for watching Sheffield United, the Liverpool versus Sheffield United tomorrow night. There's a piece about the game tomorrow night. There's a piece about Darwin. There is a piece about that report about Çalhanoğlu as well. But podcast-wise, we are absolutely rinsing it now. We have Rival Recon, Young Seti. He's got to do 2 this week. Now, so if you have the time, just take a moment and just consider Harry Seti having to do 2 podcasts in a week, which doesn't happen very often. Now, sometimes he has to do Raw, obviously, as well as Rival Recon, but to do 2 Rival Recons, like, you know, he's going above and beyond. Above and beyond. There is the new... These millennials. There is the new Scouser Tommies with Jim and Jay. They're always a belter, so make sure you give that a listen. And the latest Under Pressure, Dan Kennett, Dan Rhodes. Nice to have you back off the holidays, Rhodesy. Good stuff. And Hamza. So they discussed the wins over Lask and Fulham. So do check that out as well. And folks, that'll do me for today. I will see you all tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Oh, and there is a new Scouted just recorded, which will be out hopefully today. So take care of yourselves. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
Well. Shopping for a car?
Yep, Carvana made financing a car as smooth as can be.
Oh, yeah?
I got pre-qualified instantly and had real terms personalized just for me.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
Well, I got to browse thousands of car options on Carvana, all within my budget.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
It does. I actually wanted a car that seemed out of my range, but I was able to add a cosigner and found my dream car.
It doesn't get much...
Oh, it gets smoother. It's getting delivered tomorrow.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get pre-qualified today.